Good morning, Walla Walla. Hope your guys' Student-Led Week worship has been going great so far. Would you please stand with us as we sing our first song?
Roaring with power and fighting our battles, and every knee will bow before him. And our God is the Lamb that was slain for the sins of the world. His blood breaks the chains, and every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Every knee will bow before him.
Good morning, guys, and welcome to day 4 of Week of Worship. My name's Allie.
Hi guys, and my name is Mitchell. This last week we've been doing Instagram challenges and they've been incredible. And yesterday our Instagram challenge was reenacting scenes from The Office. And behind me on the screen we're going to see 2 of our submissions that we had. And so these are the two submissions that we got. And so the winner for yesterday's Instagram challenge is Jake Schmidt. So Jake, come on down later, see me. And we got a Taqueria gift card for you. So see me later. Thanks, guys.
Not see you later just yet. We have today's Instagram challenge. And so today we're going to do a caption contest. And so the picture that you guys are going to be captioning is a picture of our fearless leader, Emily Ellis. So we're going to put this on the shot and write your best caption. All right, thanks, guys.
For those of you that are still seeing these, stand again for our names.
thank you for all your beauty, your grace and mercy that you have filled this earth with. We come before you with burdens, joy, stress, peace, and anxiety. I ask that you be with us now. Open our hearts to the message that our speakers have to share with us today. Thank you for the unconditional love that you embrace all of us with. We love you. Amen.
There's a quiet place that gives me peace when I'm alone with you. There's a place, your spirit's always there when I'm confused. Only you can purify. All this world won't ever satisfy my heart. It cries, and as the deer pants for the water, so my soul needs you, Lord. When thirsty, God, you're my living water, and my soul needs you, Lord. I need you, Lord. I need you, Lord. I need you, I need you. I need you, Lord. I need you, Lord. I'm a stranger here. I'm thirsty 'cause I know it's not my home. Like a desert here, I need your living word for these dry bones. Jesus, fill us up again with your presence flowing deep within. New life begins, and as the deer pants for the water, so my soul needs you, Lord. I'm thirsty, God, you're my living water, and my soul needs you, Lord. And as the deer pants for the water, and my soul needs you, Lord. I'm thirsty, God, you're my living water, and my soul needs you, Lord. I need you, Lord. I need you, Lord. I need you, I need you. I need you, Lord. I need you, Lord. Quench our hearts and fill this place with heaven like a flood. Holy One, rain down on us with your consuming light. quench our hearts and fill this place with heaven like a flight. Holy One, rain down on us with your consuming love. And as the deer pants for the water, so my soul needs your Lord. I'm thirsty, God, you're my living water, and my soul needs you, Lord. I need you, Lord. I need you, Lord. I need you, I need you, I need you, Lord. I need you, Lord. I need you, Lord. I need you, Lord. I need you, I need you, I need you, Lord. I need you, Lord.
Hello, I am Alyssa, and I have the privilege of introducing our first speaker, my older cousin, Coleman Dietrich. Coleman is a 5-year senior who did an SM year in Pohnpei, a theology pre-med major, recently engaged, a surfer, a hunter, a craftsman when it comes to carving and creating, can quote The Office with extreme accuracy, and the only person I know who has almost been eaten by a camel. Coleman has a unique dedication and detail to everything he does that I'm sure will make today's talk something worth listening to. So give him a round of applause when he comes up.
Hi. So our second speaker today, hails from Redlands, California. She is a freshman elementary education major, and her name is none other than Hannah Jane Gillespie. Now, I officially met Hannah at the beginning of the school year, and I think my friend summed it up perfectly when she said, when you first meet Hannah, you think there is no possible way for a human being to keep up this amount of energy all the time. After knowing Hannah for over 3 months, I can tell you with assurance that it is possible for a human being to keep up this amount of energy all the time. She's what you'd call chaotic good. Like, you know those people who are like really nice and really friendly and really happy, but they're just crazy? Yeah, that's her. She's the literal embodiment of sunshine and is able to find the joy in absolutely everything. It was last week at Vespers, they were giving out free candy, and she looked inside the basket, she picked up a piece of candy, looked at it, and then laughed at it for a straight hour. And I was like, it's a Sour Patch Kid. But all you need to know about Hannah is that she's one of the most loving people you will ever meet in your life, and I am so excited to hear her speak today. You now know her, you will love her, so when she comes up on stage, please give her a warm welcome.
Two summers ago, I was driving along in my truck, and something strange caught the corner of my eye. So I looked down at it, and I noticed this plastic crinkly bag, like a trash bag. There's something inside of it. This was during a time when I was working as a farmhand in Central Washington with my brother and a couple of our friends. And basically our job just consisted of us driving a semi-truck. So we would hop in our semi-truck, we'd drive to the field where the farmers we worked with were harvesting whatever crop it may have been, wheat, let's say. And they would fill up their combines, then they'd come fill up our trucks. We'd go to a nearby grain silo and dump everything, come back, and just repeat. So because of the perpetual nature of the work, we never really had time for a break per se. So we would just pack our lunches in the morning and then eat them throughout the truck, or eat them in the truck throughout the day. Another thing I should probably mention is I shared my truck with a family of mice, and I really hated my mice, but I spent a lot of time with them. So anyway, one day I packed Cheetos in my lunch, and after eating them, I'm a sloppy person, so I just dropped the bag on the ground. I didn't think anything of it until later when I saw the movement out of the corner of my eye. It didn't take long until I realized that one of my resident mice had made its way into the Cheeto bag. So I kind of saw an opportunity when I noticed that, and I reached down, pinched the bag shut, and thus catching a live mouse. And I was going to save it for later because I kind of hatched up a little plan. It wasn't long before I got to the field where we were working. I noticed my friend Bailey, Bailey's probably here right now. I noticed my friend Bailey parked in his truck right where I was. So I hopped out, grabbed my new pet, and started walking up towards him. And I was replaying this plan in my head, and I was like, this is so suspicious. There's no way he's going to go for it. But I was committed. So right when I got up to him, I outstretched my hand, and I politely asked him, "Would you like a Cheeto?" And I was like, oh, there's no way. But without hesitation, he reached his hand in there. And at first, he didn't find any Cheetos, so you might think he would by then realize what was going on. But no, he kept digging around. He wanted a Cheeto. It wasn't until I started laughing uncontrollably that the gig was up, but I felt pretty good about that one. I don't know how I didn't get bitten, though. Now I'll tell you another story, this time about a lady named Eve. And rather than taking place in Central Washington, it occurred in the Garden of Eden. Rather than me being the tempter, it was a different snake by the name of Satan. And rather than the bait being Cheetos, it was fruit of some sort, as the story goes. But just like Bailey, Eve did take the bait, and as the story suggests, she changed the course of humanity forever. So why do I tell these stories? What's their purpose? Well, when I think about them, I think that they both have themes of temptation and deception. And both of the stories, one of the victim is convinced to make a decision, to make a choice that doesn't work in their best interest. They're deceived in a way where they make a choice that doesn't align with what they would really want in their lives. And I think that our life is really just a bunch of choices. Every year, every month, every week, every day is just one choice after another, whether we recognize them or not. And I think that we have a problem where we don't recognize the decisions. We're not conscious when we see these decisions. So I think frequently we're tempted to make a choice that doesn't align in our best interest without hardly even realizing it. So keep that in mind as I move on to the next point, and that's to talk about the term mindless. So what does it mean to be mindless? Well, the term's defined as acting or done without justification or concern for the consequences. What might this look like in our lives? Well, considering the time of the year, I bet a lot of us recently made New Year's resolutions. However, according to research done by the University of Scranton, only 8% of us will complete and successfully fulfill those resolutions. And according to the fitness app Strava, it's by January 12th that most of their users throw in the towel. So it's the 16th. Most of us have probably already failed. But that's not because we want to fail. That's not because we make a conscious decision to fail. It's the mindlessness and the unintentionality that leads up to that causes us to fail. It's a bunch of little decisions that we don't really stop to think about, whether it be staying up the night before you have an appointment to work out with a friend, oversleeping, and then ruining your fitness commitment and your year-long commitment, I guess. What does this term mindless have to do with the stories that I told originally? Well, Bailey's probably exempt from the term mindless because I just flat out lied to him, basically. He had no way of making the right decision. Had I said, hey, Bailey, here's a bag with a mouse in it, I don't think he would have stuck his fingers in it. But Eve's different. Eve's different because Eve knew better. Eve knew God on a personal level, and Eve had instructions directly from God. However, Satan's crafty, and he went after her weaknesses. He went after her pride and her selfishness, after her human nature, and ultimately, he convinced Eve to lose to herself. When we're mindless, we lose to ourselves. We default to our own human nature. If you're like me, then you're a lot like Eve. If you're like me, you claim you're a Christian, and you really want to be. You have an idea of what that should look like. And just like Eve, we even have directions of what that should look like. And I guess that's really what the Bible's for, amongst other things. But it can be hard to actually live the life we want. Even though we have an idea of how Christianity should be, it's hard to do and to carry that out, how we want it to look. Even if we look at some of the most basic, simple rules, like let's say the 10 Commandments, most of them are legal laws anyway. They should be pretty easy to follow. And on a surface level, we probably think we do a pretty good job. We don't wake up and we don't bow down to a golden calf, but maybe we worship our smartphone for 5 hours a day. We don't ever think we would deny Christ as Peter did, because we're much too loyal for that, and we know better. But just think even today, how many times you've heard God's name used in vain. We would never consider ourselves thieves. We would never, for example, steal a laptop from a professor, but would we steal attendance points from a period of class that we didn't attend? We don't mean to go against what God's asked us to do. We want to live a Christian life, or what we think a Christian life looks like, but we can lose sight of what that is and fail by accident. When we're mindless, it's like we're on autopilot or cruise control, and it's super easy. It's super easy and it's comfortable. However, life's too complicated for that, especially the life that Christ asked us to live. It's too windy and it's too technical to navigate on autopilot. So if it's being mindless that gets us into this rut of just defaulting to our human nature, then it's a mindful life. It's living in a mindful way that can get us out of this and reorient us to a different trajectory. Mindful is defined as conscious or aware of something. So what might that look like? Well, in 1996, Evander Holyfield was preparing for a big fight. And if you don't know who that is, I'm sure you'll know his opponent, maybe by his role in the movie The Hangover, or his face tattoo, or his cannibalistic tendencies. His opponent was Mike Tyson. And Mike Tyson was not accustomed to losing. I believe his record at this point was 45-1. So as Evander Holyfield was beating him, he really was not a fan. And his anger just built and built. He lunged forward and bit off a chunk of his ear. And naturally, like I suspect you or I would do, or how we would react, Holyfield was furious and wanted nothing but revenge instantly. And the way he actually describes it, he says that he was going to get physical revenge that night in a way that was worse than was done to him. And that was really all I could think about. First chance he got, he was going to get revenge. He was going to default to his human nature that was telling him that's what he should do. But then he heard a member from his team, a member from his crew, yell out to him, "Keep your mind on the Lord." And that helped him to snap back into what he really wanted to focus on. That triggered him to be mindful. That caused him to or allowed him to make the decision that would align with what he really wanted his life to look like. He really wanted to act like a Christian. You and I probably don't have a team walking around with us that's there to tell you to be mindful and to keep your eyes on your priority whenever you're faced with a decision. So what can we do about that? Well, I'm sure that, as I have been told many times, most of us have been told to have some sort of devotion in the morning. That way, we set ourselves up to have a day focused on God, and we'll just live better and be better humans. And I think that's a great start. That's something that I wish I did more. That's something I wish I was better about. But what if we could even take that up a notch? Is Muslim practice to pray 5 times a day, and they'll do this without fail. What if we made that commitment to 5 times a day fill our headspace with our main priorities, with What if we took that time to focus on the Lord? I think personally, I would be more likely to live the life I want to live in between those periods. But what if we even took it a step farther? Christian author John Ortberg talks about how we shouldn't even attempt to live a balanced life. Because when we try to live a balanced life, we box in our faith, maybe to a 30-minute period in the day. And we don't allow our time with Christ to spill into and bleed into the other aspects of our life. But that shouldn't be the point. We should try and fill our headspace with Christ every moment of the day. That way, everything we do is influenced by what we really want to be our main focus. We should try and construct a lens that identifies temptations and it protects us from failing like Eve did. A lens that allows us to expand our vision outside of our default mindless setting, like Evander Holyfield was able to do. A lens that allows us to stay true to our convictions and to live a faith-first life like we desire.
Hey guys. Good job, Coleman. Thank you for the sweet introductions, Macy and Alyssa. Happy New Year! New year, new me. Who I am is to be determined. Being a freshman means I get that fresh start. It comes in the name. And that's why I love a new year and a new quarter, not to mention a new school. Over break, we get to have a makeover. Upgrade ourselves a little bit like the iPhones, come back a bit smarter, cooler, sleeker than before. Or maybe you just came back with a new name. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Hannah Jane. I came to university with the hopes that people would call me Hannah Jane. It felt more adult, like a name you'd find in a novel. And I thought that by feeling more adult, I would just be more mature. Well, I don't know if that's quite worked yet, but a fresh start feels inspiring. Think of a fresh canvas, blank, waiting to be painted on, a new spreadsheet waiting for calculations. Think a brand new video game wrapped in that tight plastic wrap that just is way too hard to remove without scissors or a knife. We start out with high hopes and big dreams. We hope to get more sleep, to be healthier, to get straight A's. How's that going, by the way? Pretty good? Maybe you have a goal to be closer to God. In high school, I remember my mentor telling me, set smaller goals. Set smaller goals that lead up to a larger goal so that you can have small amounts of success on the way up. She was essentially telling me to shoot low, which in high school was perfectly fine by me. It's a way of preserving the fresh start. The problem is, I just don't get there. I don't get to any of those smaller goals. I feel like I'm never done. I am never clean and crisp. I don't know who I am. And as soon as I think I do, something drastically changes, and I have to rethink it all. I think that's why I like sitcoms. The characters have the same qualities every time. They fall into the same patterns and always end up in some sort of horrible trouble. But they circle back around, and usually things end up okay. It's consistent. You know it will come back around next week with the same 22-minute episode, and there'll be something new to fix, someone to flirt with, or something to figure out. Have any of you guys watched Friends? Raise your hands. A couple of you? Okay, all right. Okay, good. So, I had a friend in high school, and we'd be talking, and I'd say something, he'd be like, Hannah? I'd be like, yeah? You're such a Phoebe. I'd be like, no, you're calling me a Phoebe? I am not her. Sure, I'm chipper. Sure, I'm blonde and a little crazy, but I'm not her. We're not characters, as much as we may want to be. In middle school, I thought it was that simple. I made sure everybody knew who my character was. Let's be real though, I didn't know who it was. But the black, thick eyeliner really said it all. We are not consistent. But do you know what is? This one really gets my goat. Laundry. It comes back around once a week or so begging to be cleaned. And as soon as it's all done and put away, you have what you wore that day to wash. I know I will never be done with laundry because I'm not planning on getting a cleaning service. And I hate to say it, you probably will too. I am never done with it, and I know that I never will be. It is a goal that is always a work in progress. Just like laundry, we're in the works. It's hard to achieve a goal that turns you into a perfect person. Honestly, I get really frustrated. I feel like I just don't get anywhere. I am not at my peak performance physically. I'm not in a perfect state with all of the people in my life. I am not where I want to be with God. You don't get somewhere with your faith. You become someone. You are never done becoming. And listen, folks, we are in a becoming phase right now as young adults. As you become, your faith becomes. Faith follows you when you have your highs and when you have your lows. Identity is deeply integrated into your spiritual life. How can I separate who I am to who God sees me as? Who are you in class? Who are you in your social life? Who are you at work? Who you are at a party versus who you are at church is really no different. You can't have two identities. Sorry, Superman, that's dividing. It's hard enough to figure out who you are with one. So having a separation of values and behavior is defeating on an already seemingly impossible task. My friends and I have this theory. We call it the crisis haircut. By our very scientific method, we have come to figure out that at precisely 11 o'clock in the girls' dorm, in a week of stress, one will be compelled to cut their hair, pierce their ears, or get a tattoo. It's a physical searching for identity, a visual aid of who you are trying to be when you don't know. A fresh start. It's a searching in the lowest moments. You are allowed to be low, to make mistakes. It does not end your relationship with God. We don't just wake up one day and are the perfect Christian. It doesn't change with how much veggie meat you eat. Your validity as an Adventist does not depend on the size of the potluck dish. You don't have to do it right. Oh, what a big breath that is. And even when you do it right, guys, it might not feel like what you think it will. Sometimes, God feels like the furthest thing. Sin washed white as snow. We can feel incomplete, but every day is a new choice. I could feel defeated that I am not always the ideal Christian identity, or I can be overjoyed with the new daily opportunity God has given us to show love. I need a fresh start. Listen, folks, I don't want to be static. Christianity is not a standstill. Vibrant, active Christianity should be moving forward. We are a movement, continually growing, finding new ways to love. Because a movement that doesn't move, that's a title. I can call myself a runner. But what does that mean? Does that mean I run every day, once a week? Or do I just wear cool Nike sneakers and hustle to class? I think what separates a runner is that they're always working towards another run. A runner doesn't have to run every day, and maybe they shouldn't. They don't lose their title if they don't compete in every race. But there should always be a run somewhere up ahead. I don't want to be satisfied with who I am. I don't want to take for granted God's gifts. I want to love unexplainably and fill every moment thirsting for more connection with God, with others. Compelled to love, I want to receive love, even when I feel like I don't have the right to. Not defeated by hate and evils. So sure, I'm not done, but that's a good thing. Hey, I love cookie dough, and that is not done either. Lamentations 3:22 through 23, NIV version says, because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassion never fail. We are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. Let's pray. Dear Lord, thank you. Thank you for the challenge of being human. Thank you for the gifts that you give each other through each other. Thank you for us here and this wonderful community who sits here in community. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you so much.
Would you stand with us for our last song? this awesome student-led week of worship. Thank you for the speakers and for their drive to inspire us to make a change in our lives, so that you can shine through us. Be with us as we finish out today and go into tomorrow and into the Sabbath. And we love you.